A shinobi approaches Jack as he prays at a shrine and cuts him in half. This turns out, however, to be training for the ninja by Aku, who tells the shinobi to go after the real Jack. When the ninja finds Jack, he watches as the samurai saves a village from a horde of robot worms. After the battle, however, one of the children is missing and the samurai goes out to find him. When he does, the shinobi attacks and Jack uses the light to hide and fight his opponent. Light and shadow battle each other as the sun sets until finally Jack comes out on top. Jack walks through a city and is attacked by the Mondobot. He dodges its attacks and reaches its head, but many small bug robots come out of the Mondobot's head and knock Jack unconscious, causing him to fall. The two spectators, however, save him and bring him to the sewers of Andromeda. They explain that Jack is the one and that they live on an ancient city of giants who are capable of destroying the Mondobot. He ventures out and finds the giant Samurai Zord and epically emerges from the ocean. The Mondobot shoots at the Samurai Zord for about 3 hours or so, and to no avail. The two finally take out their swords and duel, but the swords are destroyed, and in a last-ditch effort, the Mondobot tries its most powerful weapon at point-blank range, but the plan quite literally backfires, winning the day for Andromeda. Jack makes some tea at a pub when the samurai walks in and introduces himself. He starts picking on the other patrons, but some security bots try to stop him, but he destroys them in style. Some bounty hunters then walk in and are slow motion killed by Jack, and after witnessing this, the samurai tries to goad Jack into fighting him by drinking and spitting out his tea. Jack cuts some bamboo for them to fight with and proceeds to make a fool of the samurai, exposing his true form, and at that moment an army of robot assassins attack and Jack defeats them using only the bamboo. The samurai then begins to apologize to Jack, but pushes him out of the way just in time to miss a laser which hits him instead of Jack. The origin of the laser is shown to be a tangled mess of robots made from the army that Jack just defeated, but he easily defeats the monstrosity, and as he begins to walk away, the samurai runs after him, asking him to teach him. As usual, Jack faces off against an army of cool drones. However, this time Aku is sick and spits up a tiny thing which Jack inhales. After Aku leaves, Jack doesn't feel so good and is picked up by a couple of guys who notice Jack's hand is turning a little black. A bit later, he comes across a man hanging from a ledge and argues with himself a little as the black stuff spreads. Even more time later, Jack crosses some robots and gets mad and kills one of them as the infection becomes stronger. He then finds a temple of salamanders for help, but the infection has grown too strong and the salamanders fight and capture him, but not after he destroys their portal. The Grandmaster states that only Jack can defeat the evil infection, and as he is almost consumed by complete darkness, he summons the good from within himself and breaks free of his evil curse and apologizes to the salamanders. Elsewhere, a barber cuts someone's hair and sees multiple well-known bounty hunters pass by. The hunters convene at a cabin and each go through their plan to kill Samurai Jack, while the Star Wars bounty hunter tells them why they will fail and reveals themselves to be Princess Mira, who must capture Jack to free her enslaved people. She decides to team up with the bounty hunters to attack the samurai together, but as Jack approaches, they take their hiding places and the samurai kicks the crap out of them. Afterward, Princess Mira drops her sword, letting the samurai walk away. The Scotsman rides a boat and after punching Greedo, runs into Brett Worthington, the spitting image of Samurai Jack. Of course, the Scotsman won't accept that it's not Jack, and his loud mouth causes the bounty hunters on the boat to attack Brent. The Scotsman beats them all up and blows up the boat, and while swimming, they run into fishmen who say that Samurai Jack freed them from a coup. When they get to shore, the Scotsman vows to find Jack's brain and notices that Brent has a scar on his chest. They find the creature who probably caused the scar, who points them in the direction Jack went. He asks everyone in town if they've seen Brent before, until they hear noises coming from a tavern, which is of course filled with bounty hunters, which the Scotsman fights and blows up the tavern, and they make their way via ship to the great unknown. As they voyage, the crew, except for the Scotsman, gets hypnotized by singing as they approach an island with faces carved of stone. They carry all their treasure to the Siren's lair, the source of the singing, and the Scotsman confronts them, telling them how terrible they sing and asking what they did to Jack. They confess to hypnotizing Jack, and the Scotsman attacks. As they fight, the Sirens order the crew to attack, but the Scotsman takes out his bagpipe, which conflicts with the Siren's song and frees everyone, including Jack, from their trance, and Jack chops off the Sirens' heads. As the two men leave, they argue about who should row the boat, and they decide to have a bunch of contests to decide which Jack wins all of. Finally, they have a hilarious thumb wrestle match, which Jack again wins and rows the boat. In a different place, we see a bunch of bullet bills attacking some fairies. The fairy king and queen send off their kids Aster and Verbena to get help, and they leave the planet in their Corellian Y-Wing. However, their ship is damaged during escape, and they land on Earth, and subsequently are captured by Aku. Jack witnesses all of this and follows them, disguising himself as an Aku soldier. Verbena tells their story to Aku, and of course Aku, sympathetic as he is, orders for the two kids to be thrown in the mines. However, before reaching said mines, Jack saves them and they go back to their ship to repair it. An army of drones appear, however, and Jack fends them off, and as they finish repairs, Jack loses his ground against the drones, and the two fairies extend the gravity of their ship to help Jack defeat the army, securing their escape. Aku orders over the phone delivery of a big monster which he orders to destroy Samurai Jack, whom is easily defeated. He orders multiple others as well, but they accidentally defeat themselves, and Aku decides to confront the samurai himself. He challenges Jack to a duel which he can't use his sword, and Jack accepts with the conditions that Aku use no superpowers and is in human form. An amazingly choreographed fight between the two rivals take place, and Jack seems to have the upper hand until they start fighting with a piece of ladder and Aku starts using his powers. Jack goes for his sword, but one of Aku's minions has taken it, which turns out to actually be a fake sword because Jack knew Aku would cheat. However, Aku knew that Jack knew that he would cheat and ends up getting another fake sword because he hid fake swords all over. Aku tries to find the real sword and Jack reveals the real one, and Aku runs away like always. Summer arrives, and as the samurai walks through the desert, he is attacked by sand ghosts and almost succumbs to the desert heat until he focuses his mind and continues walking, falling into a lake. We then see evil Humpty Dumpty during fall gathering plants and making something in his lab. He pours the concoction into a well, which Jack so happens to pass by and drinks from. The samurai chokes a little and falls over, but as evil Humpty Dumpty checks on Jack, he spits out the water into Dumpty's mouth, causing him to turn into leaves. During winter, we see some frost giants in a strange cave creating a sword, which they go through various means to create, and even have a sword in the stone kind of thing after a battle royale with cheese to determine who is worthy of it. Jack, as we may have guessed, is in the area and attacked by the champion and easily cuts the sword in half. Talk about anticlimactic. Spring finally arrives and Jack walks through an area as forest grows all around him. A forest spirit appears and tells him to rest there for a while. He accepts, but after a few moments says he must continue on. The spirit then tries to force him to stay, but he escapes. Later in a city, a robot tells the story film noir style of Aku building his robot army and the X models which he is, and how he was implanted with an emotion chip. He goes through shooting a bunch with really cool music in the background until he meets Lulu and retires. That is, until Lulu is held hostage by Aku, so he would come out of retirement and kill Samurai Jack. He enters a warehouse where Jack is and chases him around trying to shoot him. But when the robot hits Jack, it turns out that it was just another robot that he shot and gets stabbed from behind by the elusive warrior. Back in the past, we see a beautifully illustrated Africa as a young Jack arrives at an African tribe where he must train and meets the prince who doesn't like him very much. They quickly become friends, however, and train together. The village is then attacked and set ablaze by another tribe looking for Jack, but can't find him. Later on, he tracks them to their village. He fights the tribe to free his friends, which he is able to do during the fight, and his tribe is then able to fend off the other tribe. Jack walks through an orchard until he hears the cries of a baby, which when he finds it is hanging upside down by some ogres who intend to cook the poor thing. The ogres catch Jack in the act of trying to save the baby and attack, but when escaping, the baby won't stop crying. The two go off to find the baby's parents, and Jack tells a story that his parents used to tell him about Momotaro and his quest to stop the ogres at Ogre Island. The samurai and baby continue on their adventure for a while. They run into the ogres again, who he defeats, and the baby's mom shows up randomly for her baby, who has achieved the spirit of the samurai during their travels, thus resulting in a rather bizarre and unsatisfying end to Samurai Jack. Until season 5, that is. Well guys, that wraps up all 4 seasons of Samurai Jack. If you like the videos, go ahead and share them out with the world. And of course, subscribe to the channel. I have planned a few more Samurai Jack videos that'll be a lot of fun. And possibly episode reviews and a summary/review of season 5 of Samurai Jack. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you later.